Day 6, we are cruising. Yesterday we talked a little bit about strength and how asana builds functional strength. And today I want to touch upon mobility, which is flexibility, but functional flexibility. So yes, your hamstrings will get longer. Most major muscles of the body will get longer. But what's really important about yoga is that you get mobile as well as flexible. And mobility means that you can simply move and live better in your body. You can bend, you can squat, you can sit on the floor comfortably eventually. You can cram yourself into a teeny tiny airplane seat. What else do we need to do?
Tie your shoes.
Tie your shoes really well without having to put them up on something. Put your leg behind your head. Now that's not functional, but it's a good party trick. So mobility, which leads us to chair pose. That's going to be our big pose today. Not a mobility pose, but a really good way to balance all of the stretching we do, all of the flexibility we would get, strengthening the quads, glutes, belly, chair pose. But first we got to flow. So let's stand up. You can put your blocks to the sides of your mat. You won't need them for a while. And let's just stand and take a moment to find our breath. Feet hip distance, spine tall, joints stacked efficiently, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, hips over knees, knees over ankles. Seat your hands to your heart. Take a slow, deep breath in, ujjayi if you can find it. Whispering breath out the nose, audible, soft breath. One more, standing tall. Find the work of the legs, the grounding of your feet, and the spread of your chest. And then on your next inhale, simply open your eyes, reach your arms down to your side, lift your belly as you exhale, and then reach your arms out and up. Let's flow, nice and slow. Bend your knees, fold your chest down your thighs, Utkatasana. Take a big step back with your left leg. Right away, drop your left knee, reach your arms forward and up or out and up, and then come right to downward facing dog. And since down dog is our good friend, let's hold here. 5 breaths. Inhale. If you need to bend your knees and lift your heels to move the weight of the pose back into your legs and out of your shoulders, wrists, and arms, do that. Strong legs, strong belly, strong arms. Hang your head. Let's revisit the work of the hands for 2 breaths. Inner hands firm, triceps wrap back, biceps spin forward, hug your outer arm bones in and take one more huge breath in, big breath out. And with the breath, drop your knees, come to cow, back bend. Press the floor away from you, round to cat. Flowing with the breath, inhale, back to cow. Press your hips to your heels. Come right into a plank pose, inhaling. Pause for the exhale. Remember to engage your quads, lengthen the tips of your buttocks, and keep your collarbones broad. On your inhale, roll to the tips of your toes, and then drop your knees, chest, and chin, but lift your shoulders. Pull through to cobra, chest forward, shin slide back. Hold for the exhale. Pull your shoulders back and your heart through. Remember, the hands are working. One more big breath in. And then through bent knees, come right back to downward facing dog. Lift the right leg, not too high. Try and keep the hips square. Draw your right knee into your chest. Round and step to your right thumb tip. Step your left foot forward. Come right into a long, flat back. Fold down your legs. Option 1 to transition is to bend your knees, bring your hands to your hips, and hinge up. Powerful legs and belly. Reach your arms to your sides. Right into the left side. Reach up, big breath in. Bend your knees, fold your chest to your thighs, bring your fingers to the floor. Big step back with your right leg. As you inhale, drop the knee, lift your arms, and exhale right to downward facing dog. This time we flow right into cow. Inhale, drop your knees. Open the chest. Exhale, press the floor away from you, round to cat. Inhale, back to cow. Pull your chest through and your shoulders back. Extended child's pose as you exhale. Right into plank, breathe in. Knees, chest, chin, shoulders buoyant. Cobra pose, inhale, flowing through slowly. Downward facing dog, exhale. Left leg lifts, inhale. Draw your knee into your chest, step forward, or pull the foot there if it doesn't land easily. Step your right foot forward, flat back. Fold down your legs. Second option is to bend your knees and round up. Or you stick with hinging. Reach up, big breath. Mountain pose, Tadasana, stand tall. One more round each side. Reach up, big breath in. Bend your knees, forward fold, fingers to the floor. Left foot steps back, left knee drops, arms lift, crescent lunge. Downward facing dog, exhale. Power your legs. Drop your knees, open your chest, cow pose. Press the floor away from you, round to cat. Hug your navel to your spine. Inhale, back to cow. Make this fluid, extended child's pose. Right into plank. Strong arms, strong legs. Knees, chest, chin, shoulders lift. Cobra pose, smooth breath in. Downward facing dog, hips up and back. Right leg lifts, not too high. Draw your knee into your chest. Step your foot towards your right thumb tip. Step your left foot forward towards the left thumb tip. Fold. Hinging or rounding, make your way to Urdhva Hastasana. Stand tall as you root your legs. Tadasana. Last round. Left side, reach up, big breath. Forward fold, exhale. Right leg steps, knee drops, back bend, Anjaneyasana. Hands down, downward dog, forward bending. Knees tap the floor, cow, back bend, round to cat. Inhale, back to cow. Hips to heels, extended child's pose. Plank pose. Strong arms and legs, knees, chest, and chin. Melt your heart. Pull through to cobra pose. Downward facing dog. Left leg lifts slow with your inhale. Left foot, left thumb tip. Right foot, right thumb tip, right into a long spine. Fold down your legs. Come to stand. Intelligently working the legs and the lower back. Tadasana. Close your eyes. Check in. Feel your breath. Feel your body in space. Slip the eyes open. Let's get right into chair. So bend your knees, drop your seat. We're going to keep our feet hip distance and parallel for chair now. Sometimes good to practice with the feet together. It gives you a little bit more connection to your midline. But let's work with the feet apart as we've been working this whole series so far. So you want to get down into your legs. But as you get down into your legs, you don't want your butt to poke back too much. So you want to maintain length in your lower back. First, let's reach our arms forward. Imagine that you are holding a block between your hands. And let's do a few shoulder flosses, moving the arms forward and back. That will also distract ourselves from the fire in our legs. Arms forward and back, plugging forward and back. And then a little check on the front ribs. Are they popping and going crazy? Are they hugging in and meeting the upper belly? Forward and back a couple of times. Good. And then the next time you bring your arms back into their socket, begin to lift your arms up towards your outer cheeks. They don't have to go all the way in line with your ears, but you want to maintain external rotation in your upper arms. Squeeze an imaginary block. Good. Collarbones broad. Now, if this just gets too much, you stand up, you come back in. You can always relieve the legs, but we're going to take 5 deep breaths here so you remember me in your sore quads later today. If you take a peek down your knees here, you want to see that the knees are tracking right along the midline of your feet. The tendency will be for them to bow in or bow out. You don't want that to ever happen. You want your joints stacked neatly on your joints. Excellent. Take a couple more breaths. You might find that you're rocking forward in space and you might need to bring a little more weight back into your heels or vice versa. Balance feet, find your 4 corners. You've got one more breath. See if you can soften your face and shoulders just a little. Sink down with your exhale and then stand up tall. Big breath in. Tadasana. If you feel the need for a clearing breath, that would be totally legit. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. All right, so we'll take a little reprieve opening the hips. You can choose either standing ankle to knee or tree pose as we practiced yesterday. So right foot on the inner left thigh or right outer ankle on the lower left thigh. Press your right thigh back, stand tall, and breathe into your right hip. 5 breaths. Deep breath in. Remember, you could always use a wall for balance if you need to. Whatever standing balancing pose you're in, standing ankle to knee or tree, try and find a little more weight in your inner left foot, where we tend to get light in standing balances. 2 more breaths, stay with it. Belly firm, crown of your head tall, face and shoulders soft. 1 more exhale. Draw your right knee into your chest. You can hug it in with your hands if you like. Give it a little squeeze and then just step down. Switch sides right away. Left foot into the inner right thigh or the inner right calf or ankle to knee. Shoulder blades firm onto the back. And breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Trees don't frown. Inhale. Exhale. Trees are always moving a little bit. They're never actually completely still. So the body should always be making tiny micro movements. Getting unstuck even as you grow roots through your right foot. 1 more. In and out. Draw your left knee forward. Big breath in. Good. Step your left foot down. Okay, into our second pose for today, crescent lunge. Bend both knees, come into a halfway to chair, let's say. Reach your arms forward, floss them in. Reach your arms up, keep them integrated. Scoop your belly, and then just take a big step back with your left leg. So crescent lunge is a modified Anjaneyasana variation. Basically, the back knee here is off the floor. First, I want you to bend your back knee a little bit. Not all the way to the floor, but maybe 1 inch or 2 away from the floor. And I want you to feel the front of your pelvis lifting a little away from your front thigh. But as you do that, try and bend your right knee so the right knee is right over the right ankle. Excellent. Wrap your right hip underneath you a little and make sure that right knee is solid over the ankle. Don't let it waver in or out, just like Utkatasana. And then as you breathe here, just 3 more breaths. Maybe you straighten your back leg, but try not to pitch your pelvis forward, which is going to bring compression into the lower back, and it's going to steal the stretch out of the front of the left hip. We really want to be opening the front of the left hip here. Take 1 more big breath in, tailbone down, shoulders soft. Big breath out. Good. And then just touch your fingers to the floor and step forward. Right into Ardha Uttanasana. Fold down your legs. Good. Bend your knees, chair pose. Inhale, sink a little lower, exhale. And then just straighten just a little to relieve the quads and slide your right leg back, right into crescent lunge on the second side. Sometimes we'll call this high lunge pose. So right away, you're gonna bend your back knee, not quite to the floor, but hovering, and that's gonna enable you to lift the front of your pelvis away from your front leg a little bit. And then hug your left hip in, and then try and get your left thigh parallel to the floor. This is hard work. Belly lifting, shoulders softening. Back inner heel can reach straight back. That's gonna help keep you working your back leg well. And then 3 more breaths here. Any amount, you can straighten this back leg to bring the opening deeper into the front of your right hip, but don't just jam the leg straight and tilt your pelvis forward. That steals the stretch away from the front of your right hip, which is what we really want to open here. Your right hip flexor, iliopsoas muscles. 1 more big breath in, big breath out. Simply touch the floor, bring your fingertips down, step forward right into a flat back. Fold down your legs, exhale. Excellent. Bend your knees, chair pose. 1 breath in. Stand right up, Tadasana. Okay. Step your left leg back again, but this time keep your legs straight. And you're not going to step back quite as far. Our third pose for today is Parsvottanasana, or intense side stretch, sometimes called pyramid pose. We're going to use this pose as a transition pose a lot, but for now we're going to work towards the full pose. In its complete expression, the hands come to prayer behind the back. For now, I just want you to either bring your hands into a fist bump behind you, or if that doesn't feel great, you could try clasping opposite forearm. And then remember the work of the shoulders. I'm like a broken record. Outer upper arm bones in, collarbones broad, and then a little knitting of the front ribs. You want to make sure you're not on a tightrope. Your feet are in hip distance alignment, so you might need to wiggle your front foot to the right just a little. And then lift your heart. Find a smidge of a back bend in your upper chest. Scoop your belly and slowly begin to forward hinge. You don't have to go too low. You're going to feel a stretch in your right hamstring. And ideally here, you find some stretch in your right side body. You might only go more or less parallel to the floor. Good. You might go pretty close to your right thigh. We're going to take 2 more breaths. Deep breath in. Hug your outer hips in. Deep breath out. The back foot is grounded. It's at an angle. This foot is angled out. And your right foot is parallel to the front, right, and left sides of your mat. 1 more breath. Exhale. And then just release your fingertips to the floor. Modified Parsvottanasana. Step your back foot forward. Feet should be hip distance. Fold down your legs. Chair pose, inhale. Tadasana, exhale. Second side. Step back with your right leg, not as long as you would in a lunging pose. Make sure your hips are square. That probably means wrapping the left hip back and the right hip forward. Hands to a fist bump or clasp opposite forearms or elbows. Take a few breaths to open the chest and integrate your front ribs. Right away here, maximize the squeezing of your outer hips in. Back foot is turned about 30 degrees forward, front foot parallel with the left and right sides of your mat. Big breath in, scoop your belly, and slowly begin to forward fold, trying to keep your hips square. You might stop right about halfway. That might be the limits of your hamstring mobility. Breathe. Deep breaths. Keep hugging your outer hips in. Try and maintain some breadth in your collarbones. Good. 1 more full breath here. Root your back heel down into the floor. Good. Release your hands to frame your left foot. Big breath in. Fold. This is modified Parsvottanasana into Uttanasana. Chair pose. Tadasana. We're going to make this one little flow sequence. Just twice through. Chair pose. Inhale. Exhale. The left leg steps back. Big step. Bend your left knee, lift the front of your hips, and then just straighten your back leg and try and keep the front of your hips lifted. Touch the floor, straighten both legs, hop the back foot in a little, fold into Parsvottanasana. Step forward, right into hip distance, flat back. Fold down your legs. Bend your knees, chair pose. Stand tall, Tadasana. Second side, chair pose, Utkatasana. Big step back with your right leg. Bend your right knee, drive the tailbone down, lift your front hips, straighten your back leg. Good. Bring your fingertips down to the floor, hop your back foot in a little, straighten both legs and fold. Hips square. Step forward, flat back, big breath. Fold down your legs. Chair pose. Let's do this 1 more time. Tadasana, exhale. Chair pose. You breathe. Exhale. Left leg steps. Big step. Bend the back knee. Lift the front of your hips. Straighten your back leg and stretch the front of your left hip. Touch the floor. Hop the back foot in a little. Straighten both legs. Right hip pulling back. Neck relaxed. Step forward. Big breath. Fold down your legs. Exhale. Chair pose. Breathe in. Tadasana. Exhale. Chair pose, inhale, last round. Exhale, big step back with your right leg. Inhale, bend the back knee, drop your tail, straighten your right leg, exhale. Touch the earth, breathe in. Straighten both legs. Parsvottanasana. Step forward, flat back, breathe in. Fold. And guess what? We're right on our way to Shavasana. So bend your knees. Put your butt on the floor, roll down your spine, and let's give the chest a little stretch before we rest. Stamp your feet down, lift your hips up, lift your chest, wrap your shoulders underneath you. Even Kat is cooked. I know it's time to end. She's got a good schwitz going. Lift your chest, roll the shoulders. Remember, you don't want to let the knees bow. Big breaths up and down the front line of your body. Flood your body with oxygen. So much easier to rest when we're oxygenated. 2 more. Huge breath in. Huge breath out. 1 more. Big breath in. Complete the breath out. And then release your arms Roll down your spine. Hug your legs into your chest for 2 huge breaths. Squeeze in. If you want to breathe out your mouth and spread your jaw open wide. Ah. Feels really good sometimes to stick your tongue out. That's a pose. It's called lion pose. Let's try it. Big breath in. Bonus pose. Simhasana into Shavasana. Make yourself really comfortable. Let your breath unwind. Let your body rest. I invite you to continue to lie on your back. Or if you'd like to close seated, make your way up to a comfortable seat. Whether you're reclining or seated, we'll close with just 3 rounds. 6 breaths in, 6 breaths out. Deep breath in your nose. Clear out your mouth. Seal the lips, inhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out on 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last round. Exhaling. Stay as you are as long as you can. Indulge yourself. This is the most important part of your practice. I will see you mañana.